Hey student, watch this video if you want to learn 3 very popular phrasal verbs with the verb think. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Yay! Another live lesson for you to help you improve your English skills. So if it's your first time here, please consider subscribing. Yeah, every week I post different kinds of videos to help you become a better English speaker. But here we go, today we have another lesson. I hope you enjoy phrasal verb lessons. And if this is the kind of video that you enjoy, hey, how about hitting the like button? That way I know what kind of lessons you enjoy more, and then I can prepare more videos like this one, okay? So let me know, hit the like button, all right? But as I was saying, today we are going to focus on 3 very popular phrasal verbs with the verb think. We use the verb think quite frequently, don't you think? See? It's a very flexible verb. There are many different ways to use the verb think alone. But here in this lesson, I'm going to show you 3 very popular phrasal verbs that we have with the verb think. And the nice thing about these phrasal verbs is that you can use it in pretty much any situation you want, whether it's formal or informal, you name it, okay? So that's nice, that's the nice focus here. You can use this phrasal verb in any kind of environment. The only thing you're going to need is situations. You need context. If you want to use a phrasal verb, don't be too worried about what phrasal verb you're going to use, but how. In what situations you are going to use. I see many English learners buying phrasal verb books and many different kinds of vocabulary books, but that's the wrong mentality. Your mentality should be, how can I use these guys? That's more important than knowing many phrasal verbs, because let's be honest, what's the point of knowing many phrasal verbs if you don't use them when you speak? So think about that, okay? Moving on. The first phrasal verb is to think back. Now, to think back means to remember something that happened in the past, to recall a past event. So here with this verb, you are remembering something that happened to you in the past. Oh, but teacher, what if I just use remember? Can't I use remember? Well, you can. Use remember, but remember, think about it. I want you to improve your vocabulary and talk a little bit more similar to how native speakers talk. And native speakers use phrasal verbs very often. So try to include think back in your routine. And think back is used, although it means to remember, you don't use in all remember situations. I'm going to give you some examples. So here I'm giving you a command. Hey, think back to when you were a teenager. So remember when you were a teenager. Think back to, you usually use the preposition to, okay? Think back to when you were a teenager. Oh, why? Well, that will help you understand your son's actions. So maybe it's a mother and a father talking, and then the mother tells the father, or the father tells the mother, for them to think back to when they were a teenager many years ago, because that will help them understand their son. Because you were a teenager, right? You've been a teenager. And that will help you understand your teenage child or your teenage nephew or niece, okay? Now, another example here. Thinking back, analyzing my life, remembering my life in the past, thinking back. I don't know how I could waste so much time of my life trying to make my relationship work with my ex. So here we have an interesting thing. So analyzing my life, thinking back, to the past, okay? Thinking back, I don't know how I was able to persist in that terrible relationship with my ex. He was terrible. He was not nice to me. So thinking back, it was a terrible a waste of my time, and I was very persistent in the wrong way. Okay, so this is a good way to use the phrasal verb think back. Okay, now how about you? Thinking back to your childhood. What is your happiest memory? Okay, thinking back to your childhood. What is your happiest memory? Tell me here in the comments or in the chat. Participate. Think back to your childhood. What is your happiest memory? And make sure to smash that that like button, because that helps the channel. Moving on. The next phrasal verb is to think over. This is a different phrasal verb, okay? When you're thinking over, you are considering an idea or a plan with very careful consideration. You are analyzing, you're thinking about it, but in a way, in a very careful way. You are really considering an idea or a plan before you make a decision. So before you decide something, you think it over and over until you can have a clear decision, until you can make a clear decision. Okay, so that's the difference between only thinking. When you're thinking about something, it doesn't mean that you are carefully analyzing the situation or the problem. No, that's not really the point of thinking about. Okay, but when you're thinking over, you are considering an idea, considering a plan very carefully before you make a final decision. Okay, so here I have 3 examples for you. Hey, I will give you some time. So I'm giving you some time so that you can think over my offer. So maybe it's a job offer, maybe it's I don't know, an offer. Okay, so when someone makes you an offer, you need to think it over. Okay, and why? Because you need to make a good decision. You need to analyze the pros and the cons. Okay, so it's important that you analyze the idea, that you analyze the offer, if it's a good offer or a bad offer. So you need to think it over. That's what you do with this phrasal verb. You analyze the situation, and after careful analysis, you make a decision. So you are thinking over the plan. You're thinking over the offer, the job offer maybe. And after thinking it over, you can make a good decision. Okay, that's how you use think over. Okay, my friends? Awesome. Moving on. And I want to see here in the chat your happiest memory. Okay, you're thinking back to your childhood, what your happiest memory is. And the last phrasal verb, think up. Think up is to create, to invent something using your imagination. Okay, so when you're thinking up, you are creating, you are imagining something with your mind, with your imagination. Okay, so here, for example, imagine 2 children playing, a brother and a sister playing in the living room, and then their mother is coming. And then here they say, hey, mom's coming. We need to think up an excuse. She will get upset if she finds out we have not done our homework yet. They are in trouble. So they didn't do their homework. The mother's coming. So they need to think of an excuse, an explanation. Okay, an excuse to explain why they didn't do the homework. Okay, so this is an example. They are creating, they are imagining an explanation, they are imagining a solution, an excuse. Okay, now another here. We spent all night thinking up new ways to make extra money. So here in this example, we spent all night thinking up new ways, different ways to make extra money. So here with your mind, you were trying to create, you were trying to invent ideas to help you make money, make extra cash. So they were thinking up new ways, different ways. Maybe they have a job, but they need more money. So they were trying to think up new ways to make extra money. Okay, so that's a very popular use of the phrasal verb think up. Oh, but teacher, are there more ways to use these phrasal verbs? Maybe, I'm not sure. I would need to check the dictionary, but these are the most popular ones. The phrasal verbs that you're definitely going to use in many different situations, because if you pay attention to my examples, you have many different ways to use, either if it's a formal event or if it's an informal event. It depends on on what conversation you are, but these phrasal verbs are really good and definitely will improve your English vocabulary. You just need to practice so that you can use them at the right moment, at the right time. Okay? So my final recommendation for you is contextualize. Give a context to these phrasal verbs. That's why I'm giving you examples, things that happen in everyday situations. So that's how you need to study them. And to help you, we have homework. In this lesson, I want you to choose one phrasal verb, okay? And you are going to post in the comments, not in the live, not in the chat. In the comments, you are going to post one example, okay? One phrasal verb, one example. And come on, guys, let's participate. I see some of you participate, you come back and you post a comment. So I really invite you to come back and in the comments, participate, okay? That's how you improve. And that's my only request for you, subscriber, for you, if you're watching my videos every day, participate. Take a few minutes to post your example in the comments, because that helps you and it helps me to grow this channel and make and help more people watch these lessons, okay? Very well, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Make sure to subscribe and share this lesson with your friends. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.